motivational church thing, and it went to. Introduce yourself.
I'm Sage Thomas, also known as the Donkmaster.
What is a donk?
A donk is a 1971 through 1976 Chevrolet Caprice or Impala. It could be a 2-door, a 4-door, or a convertible.
Where are you most likely to see people driving a donk?
You're most likely to see a donk in the streets of Miami, where they originated from, but now you can see them all over the United States, thanks to social media.
What does someone's donk say about them?
A donk can say if they're wild, they're crazy, they like colors, they like speed. It can say a lot about you, a personality.
Why did you give yourself the name Donkmaster? What do you think makes you the best?
In actuality, I never gave myself the name Donkmaster. Actually, a 9 or 10-year-old boy from a car show back about 10 or 12 years ago, every time I went to a car show, I always had a donk, and I would always win the car shows. And he was watching me for a couple years, and he came to me one day and said, "Man, I like all the donks you do, man, but nobody can ever touch you. You always win the biggest trophy." And he said, "Man, I'm gonna call you the Donkmaster." And when he said it with so much emphasis as a young child. I was like, "Damn, I like that." And we started rolling with the Donkmaster right after that.
Why do you race?
I race for a lot of different reasons. So I like to race because I love the support, all the support from my supporters, my fans. I love the adrenaline. I like to just feel the cars go fast. I like to see the people in the stands happy because a lot of different people can't afford to race. So when I do it for them.
Where did you grow up? Tell us about growing up in the South, and what do you love most about Black Southern culture?
In about 96, 97, and all the street boys, the D-boys would come to the car wash, and they were always coming in different colorful cars, and I noticed all the girls liked them. So anytime I would detail their cars, they would give me a tip, and I'd be like, "Dang, man, who are these fellas with these old schools, or what are they?" Because every time they come to the to the car wash, they want to put extra tire shine on it so they can leave the car wash sideways. So about 15 years old, I seen it, and I was like, "Man, I gotta have me one of those cars." So about 17, 18 years old, I got me one, and then I also was going back and forth to Liberty City in Miami, Florida in the summer because my father's from Miami, and I would see the cars riding around and how much people loved them, how much people talked about them all over the city. So between the car wash in Orangeburg, South Carolina, and going back and forth to Miami, when I was about 10 to about 15 years old, is when I really fell in love with the donks.
Tell us about your grandmother and how she inspired you.
My grandmother, Granny, Margaret.
Go ahead, take your time. Well, we can go to a new question, so take your time.
My grandmother was really strong. She was only 4'10", about 90 pounds, but she never took no mess. And she always said, your first impression will be your best impression. And whatever you said you had to do, she made sure whatever you said you had to do. She didn't care about no contracts because she said when she bought her first house, she signed an X beside her name because she didn't know how to write her name. So whenever you look somebody in the face and you tell them you gonna do something, just do it. My grandma was real. And she was solid, but she meant a lot. And she practically raised me. And everything. She loved cars. She loved the dance. She loved the racetrack. She just loved everything about going fast, even though she didn't have a driver's license. So I used to take her around in all my cars. And one thing about it, she was really the first person to get in the car that I built in the backyard. So I would put a car together in the backyard, and she would always call me the GOAT because I like to eat anything. So she would be like, GOAT built the car. He could build a car. If he could build a car, I'm gonna ride in the car. He could take me to the store. So when I was about 14 years old, I pieced together an old car in the backyard, and I would take my grandma to the store. And the wheel would fall off. The brakes wouldn't work, but she didn't care. She knew I built the car, and she knew I would get better. And she believed in me. She believed in me from the very beginning. So my grandma was real strong. She was real strong.
Okay, we're gonna come in and give you some. All right. Okay, well, I can kind of already answer some of this. Well, actually, describe your early days of donk racing and racing in Sundown Town.
So my early days of donk racing was, as far as the reason I started doing the donk racing, because I had a 74 Chevrolet Nova that I beat a lot of people with coming up in Orangeburg. So everybody around Orangeburg knew me as the young boy with the fast cars. So they were like, man, that young boy, he got some fast cars. So after I won so much money racing my 74 Nova, I wanted to try to build a sleeper, which is a car that doesn't look fast, but is extremely fast. So I ended up taking the motor and transmission out of my Nova and putting it into a Donk. So I would travel around to what we call like the Chitlin circuit, to where I would go different cities. So that's where the actual city to city, state to state came from. So I would go different cities, and I would call out the biggest street boy in each city. So any street boy in the city thought he ran the city, I would come beat him, and then now I'm the man in his city. So I would go to the next city and do the same thing, and then I go to the next city, do the same thing. And then once I conquered all the cities in South Carolina, I moved to Georgia, then I went to North Carolina, then I moved to Florida, and I just started taking over. Doing that before social media. So it was actually, we started taking over the magazines. I was all over Ride Magazine. I was in all over the different websites, and people like, have y'all ever seen this Donkmaster fella? His donk is extremely fast, and he's beating everybody. So I was winning car shows, and then we would go street race after the car shows in every major city. And then it just kept growing when Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff caught on to it, and it took off like a rocket.
Real quick, before we go to the next question, take a drink of water real quick.
Okay.
First, tell us about the NDRA.
The NDRA is the National Donk Racing Association. So it's a lot going into with the NDRA. So first and foremost, I want to give the reason why we started the NDRA, and that's because of the street racing and the crowds. So in 2015, I raced a fella by the name of Two Fly in the streets of Miami, MLK weekend. So if you're from Miami, from Florida, you know MLK weekend is the weekend we call a donk holiday. Every donk from around the world is at MLK weekend. So when you go there, you go see donks from California, Florida, Wisconsin, Maine, Canada, Texas, every donk. And the streets are flooded with them. From MLK weekend, like January 17th to like the 21st, donks are everywhere. So we already planned something 7 months prior to where hey, we gonna pull up on the boys MLK weekend. We gonna go to the car show and we gonna call the whole city out. And everybody was like, bro, you ain't about to call out them city, boy, them boys fast. I said, them boys ain't fast, cuz. I'm gonna show them what fast is. So we went down there, Instagram, social media, it's on fire. I done pull up in the city. Every set, every hood, I'm in the Donk. Drop top music beating. I'm coming through, burning out. Wop, 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 wop. Doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? Pulled up on the boys. Said, what happening? What y'all want to do? I'm in y'all city. What's up with it? Let's get it. They scared. Oh, man, this country boy in the country out here. Hey, dog, this country boy in the city, dog, talking he about to race something, dog. He about to run the city. I'm going to show y'all who really do this. They be like, man, they just call you the Donkmaster. You ain't the Donkmaster. So I'm going to show them, right? Went down to the city. We talked politicking, South Beach, Cleveland Avenue, partying, drinking, you know what I'm saying, having a good time, doing whatever we do, you know what I mean? Mind you, we done rent an 11,000 square foot mansion on the beach just to politic and kick back in their city for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? We having a good time. We get on Instagram, we talk, we find a spot. About 12 o'clock, we go to the spot. I done talk to the team. That's what we go do. We about to bet these boys a lot of money. I need everybody in position so we can get this money, get up out of here. They not gonna win. They said, all right, bet. We set it up. As soon as my car hit the interstate, somebody called somebody, and we have about 2,000 people following us through the streets of Miami in a line, like Barack Obama is coming. After they seen it, the police calling the helicopter to try to stop the race because they knew what was happening because they was watching social media the entire time. 2 helicopters flying, 2 birds in the sky, circling us, looking like, oh, these boys about to get down. We raced between 2 counties. So one county had jurisdiction here and the other county didn't at this particular spot in the road. So the police end up blocking the road and we set up the race, just enough room for us to race and stop. And after that, the world was on fire. I'm talking about Instagram, I got over 15,000 followers in a matter of 30 to 40 minutes, and it went crazy. And everybody knew who the Donkmaster was from that point on.
How real are the stakes of a donk race?
Real? How real are the stakes of a donk? Real. We bet real money all the time. Blue cheese and hundreds. Cash money. That's what they are. We can bet anywhere from 5,000 up to over 100,000.
Tell us about the community around donk racing, your team, your network of mechanics, and your fans.
So with donk racing, as far as everything that's combined into donk racing, I have a strong team. So we have a lot of different mechanics who specialize just in that one thing. So I have one person who welds and fabricates. Then I have one particular person who builds engines. Then I have one person who does transmissions. And then one person who does interiors and music and lighting. So it's a tight-knit network, but you have to find the best to be the best. You can not one person just specialize in one thing. That's just like me. I'm very good at engines and transmissions and drivetrains, but as far as interior and paint and chrome work, we don't do that. But as far as having the best, you need to find somebody who is the best just in that field. So the network is strong because everybody I got on speed dial and they move pretty good when I call. So it makes stuff happen, just like this car behind me right here. Make a phone call, they know we're not playing.
What is gap sauce?
So gap sauce is my coin and phrase word that I trademarked that is actually a gap delivered with style and grace. So when I'm racing somebody, since these cars are so fast and flashy, and I gap them, I'm giving them the sauce. I'm dripping it on them. I'm dropping it on them. They the first place loser behind me. I'm profiling, I'm styling. I'd have given them some gap sauce. And after I beat them, I'm in the car. Gap sauce! The whole film about Day Clone Tyrone is on point with everything. I'm talking about everything that's in the film. They're not telling a lie from the man at the stove to the people riding in the truck snatching up people. Like, it's not lying nowhere about it. Like, the film is correct all the way around. I like how it's very authentic to the clothes, to the air, to the music they're playing, to how people talk, walk in the film. It's extremely authentic, and I really enjoyed the movie.
All right, and then last question in layman's terms, tell us how you created the Tyrone Donk. How did you plan it? Who was your team? How many days did it take? And what are you proud of with this car?
All right, so on the Dayclone Tyrone Donk, my team is Jenna, my sister, Gavin, my day-to-day manager, Steve Moe, G-Dog, and ARC Motorsports, who actually helped with the rendering and the design of the actual car before we did it. And then Jugs Auto Tune did the interior. Chris at Rapstar did the wrap. And Jason, Steve, and Chet did the body work and putting the car together. So as far as actually designing the car, me and Gavin actually have a color palette. So after you gave us an idea of what colors you wanted and what kind of look you were going for, we just took that and put it on a 2023 spin. Cause you know, in the beginning, y'all gave us something for 2010. I ain't gonna lie, I was waiting to say it now. What y'all gave us was.
Okay, now wait a second. I know I gave it to you, but you can't be like Sade gave me the color.
Hey, all right, well,
you picked the colors. The colors are inspired by the film.
Yeah, the color.
So let's go back from like the car, like the colors that inspired the car and stuff like that.
All right, so the actual colors that inspired the car are from the film. So they sent a color chart what we wanted to choose from, and we picked a couple of the different ones to put a rendering together. And then once they okayed the rendering, it was up to me and Gavin to figure out the shades of what we wanted in the hues. So as far as the shades and the hues, like you can look at a car, see the wheels matching the interior, the red on Netflix matched the brake calipers, and the LED lights was for the red, and then the color change of the wrap had to blend with the rose gold on the wheels and the hue in the interior. So just doing all that, putting it together to make it come up with something that they didn't want. Sade said, I don't want it gaudy. Just make sure it look good, but not like, you know what I mean? You know, so that's what we had to do, and that's what we had to work with. So, you know, I think we executed to the T. And as far as putting the car together, you have to be very meticulous because this is a wrap, and that chrome is 50 years old and it's extremely heavy, so you have to be particular on how you put it together so it don't scratch it or dang it or anything like that. But as far as putting the car together, it was me and Gavin actually came up with all the color palettes, and it came out pretty nice.
How many days did it take?
The total build from start to finish was 38 days. It took 38 days to actually finish the car. So to finish the actual Dayclone Tyrone Donk took 38 days to actually finish the car.
Is this the shortest time that you ever had to finish a car?
Full front to back car, this was the shortest period of time I ever did it. That we ever did it as a team.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's Donkmaster.
All right, y'all. What I'm about to explain to y'all is right now QA1 has a big wheel kit. Y'all know all the Donkmasters. We work on Donks, right? So QA1 came out with the big wheel kit. Listen, you go to QA1.net, one click, get y'all the big wheel kit.
One.